Welcome to The Authority Show, where we turn insight into impact.
Hi, everyone, and hi, lovely Marshall. Lovely to have you with us
Hi.
today. Let's jump in there straight away and let's fire away with a short introduction. Who are you?
Yeah. So who am I? Hello, everybody. Grand Rising. My name is Lovely Marshall, founder of Lovely Is Your Story. A little bit about myself is I went from nursing school failure, and for a long time, I felt as if I was a failure. I attached it, stitched it on me, and I knew too many people who felt like they were a failure. And then I went from fellow nursing school to getting a job at Facebook without a degree and then becoming a Forbes coach. And all these amazing things kept happening. And people were asking me a question like, how did you go from like failure to Facebook? And it really was like, there wasn't like a one thing that like got me to Facebook. I think the biggest thing that I like tell people was really just my friends. I connected with different individuals. My goal every year is to meet like 5 new people, and I got a chance to meet Mr. Karl, and just really inspired by you and all of your speeches and opportunities that you had. And so that is why I'm here. Just really for those of you all who felt as something, please do not attach failure to yourself. I myself have been so guilty of doing that. Like, no, that project failed, that marriage failed, that friendship failed, whatever it was, layoffs, doesn't matter. That's not who you are.
So, this is super interesting. I really want us to dig into this because
So,
you keep on saying the word failure. And to
so,
me, that is what most people do. Like,
so,
we look at success and failures.
so,
We look at black and white. We look at right and wrong. But that's not how the world is actually
it's not.
operating. And
It's not.
what I'm trying to go for here is that, in my personal opinion, there is nothing that ever have failed, because failure to me is when you do something that did not result in anything. It has
Mm.
only a
I mean,
negative thing.
failure is.
Failure is something that did not result in anything. Okay. So what I'm aiming for here is that whatever you do, you will get something new to your amazing mix of starlight wonders, or whatever we like to call it. Every single thing we do is a learning curve, and there is no failures. The only thing that is happening is that you're evolving, you're adding more into your
Right.
experience, and that will make you succeed into new opportunities. But
I
more
love
importantly,
that.
whenever you get into a struggle, anytime in the future, you have already overcome previous struggles, and that will make you stand more firm or more flexible, because it's not about being as firm as possible. It's about evolving. So you cannot fail.
Yes, you cannot fail. Again, didn't I say like everybody, your goal is to meet other people? That is amazing. Thank you. Seriously. That is so amazing because a lot of people like myself were like, okay, I failed. I failed. I love that failure is you didn't do anything. So you all at least tried. We at least tried. That's amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So I wrote an article on this topic many years ago called Failing Forward, because that's, in reality, that's what we do. Whenever we have a moment where we feel like it's failed, we're actually moving forward. We're never moving backwards. The only way to move backwards is to delete experience, insight, learning curves, or whatever we would like to call it. And you can't delete anything like that. It will always be with you, and that will help you in whatever happens to you next, or whatever situation you put yourself in next.
Wow. I love that. I love that. You heard it here first.
So with that, if you now look back at your life,
Mhm.
you never failed. You have always
Yeah.
succeeded.
Yes. Yes.
And
Doesn't
with
feel
that,
like it, but yeah.
no, but with that, new doors opened, and you
Yes,
got
it
the
does. It
attitude to
really
open
does.
new doors. And
It
with that
really, really does.
attitude, you succeeded even more.
Mm. 100%. 100%. I agree with you 100%. I just, again, it was those years where it was like, what do you do
Yeah,
next?
yeah,
When
yeah, yeah,
the project fails, when the marriage fails, it's like, now what? What do I do now? And I think that's what a lot of people miss out on.
yeah. And I totally get that. Like when you are there in that dark situation where everything feels like it's going against you, it feels like you are very alone and that you're not succeeding. But again, keep in mind, every day you wake up and you do something, you're actually making a progress.
Yes. Hopefully you're not watching TV.
Yeah, yeah. If you spend all your time watching TV, you're not learning as much. You're consuming a lot, but
Yes.
it's about
Yeah.
what you learn. And the best
Yes.
way to learn is
Absolutely.
to do things that you don't know how
Yes,
to do.
absolutely. 100%. Do things that you don't know. I am
Yeah,
learning so much. We were talking before this about just simple things about how do you maintain eye contact
yeah,
because of the cameras for laptops, it's up above. So how do we do it? So even that, I was like, these are new
yeah,
things that I can do. I'm always on podcasts all the time. And it's just a better way to make it a meaningful experience to look
yeah,
as if I'm looking at you all, engaging with everybody. So it's always an opportunity to learn when you do something new. Muhammad Ali is like my greatest hero in the world. And he talks about like even the greatest was once a beginner. Don't be afraid to take that first step, and I
yeah,
think a lot of people feel that failure. So they're like, oh, what if I fail? So I'm not going to do anything. But as you said, you're learning something new. Because you took that step, you learned something new. You learned how to be able to do it. I mean, I learned the best way to connect my audio, like which one like works so well today because I have like the computer audio, the webcam audio, like all these audios. So it's just an opportunity. Even the greatest podcaster was once the beginning. And they talk about
yeah,
like, look at my first ones. It was awful and you couldn't hear me and,
yeah,
everything. And I think that we often forget that. We see, you speaking on stages and we see your thousands of followers. And it's like, no, he started with the one, everybody. Like he
yeah,
started with the one, just like you all started with the one. And then it got hundreds and then it got to the thousands. But it was just that duplication of efforts over
yeah,
and over and over again.
yeah. And my personal attitude, and this is something I come back to all the time, is that everything we do is an experiment. And by experimenting, again, we will never fail because we have not defined the actual end result. So we learn along the route, we learn new things, and we take new decisions, making our journey based on experiences into new land that we did not know about. So think of everything as an experiment, and everything is going to be so much easier because your concern, your worries are not holding you back.
I love that as an experiment. And
Yeah,
when we did experiments, especially like, in the US and stuff, it was that guess. It was like, okay, it's just a guess. We don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to learn something. Like, this is our hypothesis. Maybe the volcano will blow up, maybe it won't.
yeah,
I love
exactly.
that. Everything, life is an experiment. It gives
Yeah.
you an opportunity. These are a lot of good nuggets.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more. What are your current interests and where are you heading? Like, everything is moving super fast, and in one way or another, everybody's talking about artificial intelligence, but it's so much more to it. It's very much about how you pick things up and how things are tailored for your need, or how you tailor things to be a good fit for you. Like, where are you? Where are you going, and so on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So where am I going? I am on track to building a $100 million dynasty. I want to supersede that, but people are like, okay, why are you saying $100 million? Well, because in order to do good in the world, in order to be impactful, it requires money. Like, it doesn't matter what it is that you want to do. If you want to build space, if you want to do clean water, those things require money. So my company, when I first like wrote out, like told everybody, I'm like, I'm going to build $100 billion dynasty. So that's like what inspires me every single day. I want it to, help other people. Got to 1 million and it wasn't enough. I still was having to tell people no. I couldn't build the shelters. You know, people are always like, I'm going to build a homeless shelter. I'm going to do all of those things. Well, that requires money. The realtor wants money for that homeless shelter. The developers want money for that homeless shelter. You need to be able to feed them. You need to be able to provide beds, mattress, all of those. They cost money. And when I learned that, it was really eye-opening of like, who can I connect with? Who has those various resources and things? So that's what like really inspires me. I'm learning valuable things every single day. And so that's ultimately the goal. And also too, because as a part of my business, we help people with business success and career success. So in America, like growing up, because I know this is a global like podcast, we would have these things where you would like mark yourself. The goal would like always be $10,000. So when I was a kid, like $10,000 was like so much money. And you will like mark yourself to be like, "Oh, this is how much money you raised." And so that's what I want. Like, I want to see like how much are my businesses and the people who like want careers, how much money are they getting? So like one of my clients got $50,000 and I'm like, okay, we added $50,000 to like the 100 million like track to say like, we got people $100 million in like business success and careers and promotions. And I get like so excited about it, but like, that's what I love. Like it brings that kid thing in you because again, it's that every day where it's like something exciting. Like how can we get you to move further and further and further towards like that goal? I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that goals are important because without goals, we're just going all over the place or we're going nowhere. We're just, we don't have that guidance or that compass needle to point us in the right direction. Um, I've been doing a ton of different things. And in one way or another, as you say, we do need to make money. Like a business that doesn't make money is going to be bankrupt. That's just how the society operates right now and how everything moves around the world in one way or another. To some extent, sadly, but that's how it is. We need to accept that. So the importance here is to figure out how to prioritize your everyday life, to not be overwhelmed, but also to make the right prioritizations along those different like daily decisions. Because as you know, if you want to succeed and succeed big, as you point out, there is a million things to do and you can't do all of them. So how have you been trying to prioritize and do the right thing at the right time?
Yeah. My gosh, this is so amazing. So I have my little handy sheet thing where I literally I ties three things. I always was told this, even when I was like a kid, of like you prioritize three different things as a part of your life, and three different things may be different. So today I have a business task. I'm like, I'm gonna cook for my family because I haven't cooked for them in a few days. And then I'm going to prioritize my health. So I have today is work, family, and then health. Tomorrow, it might be my friendships with my sisters. It might be, you know, being able to read a book where I just learn and I'm not doing anything, but it's me just learning. So I just try to do like three different priorities right now in America. It's 5:30 in the morning. So I prioritize away at 4 o'clock in the morning so that way I could be here and be on the podcast. And then, and honestly, I'm like really excited because I was like, dang, because I'm waking up early, like I'm really excited. And then I can like go and do more work. It's like, dang, I didn't know I would
Yeah.
have like 3 extra days. I mean, 3 extra hours of like time. So for me, I was always told that if you do three things, then you will get like a lot done. And if you have more than like those 30 things, then often something is going to be missed. So that's how I try to do it. It's like three different things. And it could be getting my hair done. It could be, spending time with friends. It could be a vacation. But every day I try to like prioritize three different areas of my life because you can't really get to all of them. Like it isn't. When I'm with my family, my girlfriends and stuff, I'm not going to answer your phone call. Like you can't do that. When I'm right now on this podcast, my phone is turned off. So if you want to get in touch with me, you can't. And I think people don't often do that. They're like, I want to do it all and I want to do it all right now. And you even like said that, like you travel a lot. So when you're traveling, you can't be able to be with friends and hanging out if they have a birthday party and stuff. And not a lot of people talk about that prioritization. It doesn't mean that you all are important. It's just that there are some things right now that are urgent that we must do. And so it's like urgent, important, and then nice to have that I like usually like try to do for my life.
Yeah. How have you broken down this amazing goal or future achievement? Where are you on trying to make it more tangible and something that you can really deliver on?
Yeah. So for me, it's a everyday thing. There's this book called The Magic. Have you heard of it?
Yep.
It's by Rhonda Byrne. Yeah. So they talk about how every day you plan your day ahead. And you say, thank you for. And so, like today, it would be thank you for the amazing conversation with Karl, what I learned, what I could be able to grow in terms of my clients and insights. And then you just go through like your entire day. So that started about 7 years ago, like when I learned about the book and how to be able to do it. And now I just leveraged that in terms of like prioritization. Because again, remember, I felt like I was a failure, but it was an experience that I am learning. But because I felt like I was a failure, I was like, I never want to do that again. And what was it? And I did learn so much. Like, I really did learn so much from that experience. It was like, what was it that kept me failing nursery school? And it was like, I didn't prioritize school. I didn't. I was a mom. I didn't know how to things. I didn't study right. I didn't do those necessary things. And so it was like, I never want to feel that again. So what are things that I can do so that way I don't feel this way again? And that's what sort of like led to it. And again, just every day I'm learning and I'm growing. I'm learning even from you, like the part about the experience. And so I think one of the things that I learned just from this conversation today is while having my list is great, making sure that I experience it. Am I present in the moment with you? Like, is this truly phenomenal? Like, what did I learn? What can be impactful? And then when I go to my next task today, not just doing it just to get it done, but what is going to be the outcome? How will this, legacy be able to do?
Yeah.
Because the one thing about podcasts, this is something that for years people can look at, and it's like, I listened to an article with Steve Jobs where he did the 1984 commercial. What, over 30 years ago? But
Yeah.
that 1984 commercial, y'all have not watched it. It's amazing. It was like, here's to the bowl and the rebel. It's a really good commercial. But I never saw that before. But because somebody documented that, now I in 224 can listen to that. And I'm like, I am different. And it's okay to be different. And so I think that's what I'm learning. Not to worry about how many people listen to this, and I will never know the effects. I could be dead and gone, and still people can listen to us and know about us and be like, wow, at this moment, I was feeling like I was a failure. But Lovely and Karl shared that it was actually an experience. So how can I move forward? And that's what I'm learning. Like, not to just have the list, but really experience this moment.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not about the stone that you throw into the lake. It's about the ripples that result after it. And then with that, like the ripples, That is something that I think a lot about. And I try to make sure that I have a ton of different ripple effects every day, to not do things with a direct intention or an expected outcome, to start things and see where they might lead me or how they might affect others, to again experiment and do that continuously, not just with one thing, but everything that I do, to see how can I start something that may lead to something, or in whatever I do, as we started off with, whatever I do, I learn something. And I come to the point where I learn so much new things every day, and I have developed, it's so boring to say, but a method, or maybe let's call it a way of life, where I learn new things continuously, and I cherish everything that I learn. But I also really enjoy having these conversations that we are having today, and with that, inspire other people and help other individuals to get more out of their everyday life, because it's not about making a great impact every day. It's about making small, tiny steps that takes us to a new planet in a way, like the planet of opportunities.
Yes, 100%. I couldn't agree more. I think as you were talking, I was thinking about how therapeutic it is. Like why podcasts really are taking off and continues to take off is because it's the conversations, but it's more so like therapy. Like I am telling you stuff and then you're affirming me and you're making me feel empowered. And then the same thing, like I'm sharing insights with you. You're like, wow, forgot about the 1984 commercial. And like, now I can do these things. So it really is a great way to, like you said, live life. And it's just the conversation. Number one, I would have never met you. Like there are billions of people in the world, but because you have a podcast, I was like, wow. Number one, I love your conversation, and to just have a conversation with you. Like that's all podcasts are, like just a conversation. But as we're talking, as we're learning, as people listen in on us, they're like, wow, I didn't think about this. I didn't know this. So I really just would say like, thank you for like creating this podcast, because it really is therapeutic about how we're talking to each other, really just empowering each other, encouraging each other. Like, we're nodding our heads and like, wow, like it's excitement. And I'm very grateful for like every single person who created things to get us here. Like, so Riverside had to learn and get feedback on us. And then our audio piece, like I have a Shure microphone, like they had to learn and grow. And then the ring light, they had to be able to do it in the webcam and your tiny
Yeah.
camera. Like, it's all of these things, like you said, that ripple effect that they created something, but it allowed a way for Lovely and Karl to connect on two different continents, two completely different days. It's later in the day for you, early in the morning for me. Like my day is just getting started. And it was that ripple effect, to your point, like that this happened. And I think if everyone does that, which is like sort of like creating a legacy, like, hey, I did this thing, I'm doing this job, regardless of what it is. If I'm a janitor and I'm cleaning up, that ripple effect is that somebody has a clean space, whether it's that office building, the school, everything that you do, think of it as that ripple effect. So really, really, really great analogy.
Yeah. So what ripples have you seen lately that challenge your thought pattern or way of reasoning?
My own like ripple effect has been me turning in my resignation at Facebook. My friends were like, wait a minute, you're leaving this good job. Like, why would you leave this good job? And to me, it was again that ripple effect. When I was at Facebook, yeah, it's an incredible company, but that's all I was.
Yeah.
Now being a founder, I get to have conversations with you. I would have never met you. Like, it's opened my eyes to so much. And it's also created an opportunity of people being like, okay, Lovely did it. Now I can do this. Like, I'm seeing her take these steps, and it's not as scary as I thought it was. And one lady who I had on a podcast, she talked about how as adults, we say that things are scary. But if we do it in terms of an experience like Christmas morning, you don't know what you're going to get as the presents, but you know that it's going to be good, right? So using that, like, okay, I didn't know what I was going to get by leaving Facebook, but I'm like, it has to be better than this. Like, it just has to be like my life continues, will get better and better and better and better. So the biggest ripple effect that I think, referring back to that 1984 commercial, is being different, being disruptive. Like, you don't necessarily have to be a part of the status quo, and shoot your shot. Like, I pitched to you, you have thousands of people. I didn't know if I would be a yes or a no, but like, did it happen that I got a yes? But it was because I took that step to say, like, you either tell me no, and then I work on my pitch to pitch in the other podcast to get it, or you tell me yes, and it's an incredible experience, and I get to meet like so many amazing people. So I think that's the biggest ripple effect, is me being disrupted. I wrote an article about me blocking my boss because it was like, it didn't just start like with the resignation letter. Like, it started with me blocking my boss to even pitch 2 podcasts to say like, hey, let me tell you my story. But I was afraid, like, oh, if my boss see me, then,
Yeah.
you're going to be like, what are you doing? Like, how can you talk about this? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to block my boss. And then that way I'm going to move forward, and like, to block your boss on Facebook. Like, you don't just do it on Facebook because like we own Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, like Oculus. Like, I had to go deep. I blocked him on like everything. And then a colleague, like, I call him the nosy Nancy, like a colleague saw me. So then I had to block my colleague. It's like, dude, I'm gonna block everybody. I just don't want you all. It's like 2 options that you get in life. Either those people will block your career, they'll block your business, they'll block your progress because you're so afraid of them. Like, what are they gonna think? What are they gonna do? So you have to either make the choice to block them or ignore them, which is still blocking them because you're ignoring what they say, or they could block you and keep you safe and keep you in that little box. And so I think that's the biggest ripple effect that like Forbes is like allowed me to publish about. So now like everybody's like, girl, I blocked my boss. Like, I blocked my boss. I blocked this, and now I got a promotion. I blocked my boss and I did this. So I think it's just bringing back that privacy moment. Like, yeah, we can
Yeah.
have social media, but at the end of the day, I'm me. I'm me before I was your employee. And if I want to go to another company or have other conversation, I should be willing to do that. So let me block you. We can always unblock. But right now, like, to get me to move forward, I need to block you so that way I can move forward.
Yeah. I like this because from my point of view, blockers is something I've been working with my entire life, but not from your illustration of it. In my line of business, blockers are things that hold progress back. And then most of it is actual issues, concerns, technical limitations, and so on and so on. What you point out is super interesting because there are people that hold us back. And to make an active decision to limit their negative impact on you is what you're talking about. And I love that because we should all do that. We should make sure that we surround ourselves not only with yes sayers, because that will also cause challenges because everybody's just cheering along and they are not actually being honest with what you're doing or what impact your offer might have, whatever that might be, if it's a startup idea or if it's a business decision or any other thing. Like, you should have people that don't agree with you in your network so that you can have those tough conversations. But that's a totally different type of individual. What you're talking about is people that hold you back because they are afraid that you might gain more progress than what they have.
Yes, 100%. Like that is that is so true. Like they are afraid in think of it like this way. A lot of people like you, I'm certain, like whoever was mentoring you, they could have been like afraid, like, oh my gosh, Karl is making all this progress. So I'm not gonna tell Karl these things anymore because I'm afraid that Karl will get the things that I need. So then they block you from your potential like progress. And that's what often happens like in the workplace. A lot of people, especially businesses, oh, this whole side hustle. Like everybody's like, oh, I got a side hustle and they're doing things on the side where they never go full time an entrepreneur. It's because they're afraid. They like, if I leave this thing or if I leave my boss and they'll be mad at
Yep.
me and all that. So then they don't move forward in the progress. And I'm like, sometimes you just have to like cut it. And like you said, it's an experience. You can come back, but just try. Like just take that leap of faith. And not enough people like does that. So yeah, it's so amazing. Like although we have different like cultural experiences, that this is something that is sort of like globally that so many people experience.
Yeah. But there's another thing to it as well. And that is what we tend to see as the comfort zone. The things that we are used to that makes us feel comfortable. Like if you try to sit in a chair that's super comfy, that is so comfortable that you would not need to move for an entire day, you're going to feel stiff in the joints after a while. You're going to feel some part of the body is having some sort of pain point in one way or another. But if you're not sitting comfortable, you're switching position. You're doing things that is not comfortable, and that makes it comfortable. So the idea of comfort zones is, sorry to say, it's total rubbish. It doesn't exist. It's not comfortable. It's a tremendous risk that you're putting yourself in a situation where you're not evolving, where you will become obsolete in one sense. But also, this is where we come back to the blockers. They don't want you to be more successful or
Yes.
be more flexible, if we may look at it from their point of view. And
Yes.
that's why it's so important to embrace the uncomfortable zone. That's where you should feel comfortable. You should,
Yeah.
in one way or another, try to find a way every day to not do it, whatever it might be, the same way as you did it last time. If that is to walk to the printer room and get a piece of paper that you printed, choose to go to another printer. Like, do it a different way so that there's something every day that makes your life more interesting, that you add something to it. Maybe you meet someone that you never met, or maybe you meet someone that you have not met for quite some time, and that opens new doors and so on.
Yes. Oh my gosh. When you set that comfort zone, I was like, dude, did you read my article? Because I just literally talked to Forbes about that, like the comfort zone trap, where people stay in their jobs for the 2%. So, like in America, you're guaranteed a 2% raise. Every year, you get 2%. But if you leave, like you said, just taking the step and leave, most people get 10% more by just leaving their jobs.
Yeah.
And it's sort of that compound interest. So those of you all who are investments and have stocks and cryptos, all of that, when you invest 2% versus 10%, even if you just make one jump, that over the lifelong, like it's significant. And it's called the comfort zone trap. Oh my God. Like, so when you said that, I got so excited. Stop staying in that 2% comfort zone trap. I was talking to someone the other day and he grew up in UK, and he said that you should be willing to get 1% better every day. 1% better every day. So like for me, like my 1% is as soon as we get off of this, I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy that tiny camera because then I'm 1%
Yeah.
I'm 1% better than like what I was. And even I was like, okay, maybe I should try to get up earlier in the day because I'm starting off earlier. I'll have time like for uninterrupted before my team gets to answer emails. And I'm like, this is good. Like, you think that, oh, I'll feel tired, but I actually feel like energized more than if I would have like slept into 9 o'clock. 'Cause I'm dragging out of bed and doing things. So that 1%, just every day, just getting 1% better, like you said, just one thing, whether it's, maybe doing the reps, if it's, getting up, if it's changing your microphone, just 1% better, then you'll be 100% better than what you were like 100 days ago. So you're the second person who like said that. I love that.
Yeah. Quite often we are comfortable, as we talk about now, but quite often that comfort is something that we can trick. We can trick ourselves into feeling comfortable about change. Like, for example, if you say, I want to wake up earlier, then instead of putting your alarm clock for 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning, change your time zone on your alarm clock so that you wake up. You look at it and it says 7 o'clock, but it's actually 5 o'clock. So that when you look at the clock, you're in this mode where you're not up to speed yet. So you're tricking yourself like, okay, it's 7, I better get up. And then after doing that for a couple of days, it's going to feel natural.
That is so amazing. I love that. In just the again, this is like it's not rocket science, but it really does work.
Yeah,
Changing my time zone. So number one, I'm in another country, guys. And so
exactly.
like today I'm waking up and I'm in Spain.
Of course. So go on a journey. Yeah. So one of my books is called Hacking Our Destiny, where like I do this all the time. I hack small things into new things. Like we can do so much more. Like traveling to another country, as you pointed out, then you wake up in a different time zone. So why don't go all the way? Maybe not all the way to travel to another country, but like do things that change your routine. Because again, routine is comfort zone. You don't want to get stuck in doing something on routine, especially not your entire life. There are things that should be routine based, like doing laundry. That's not something that we need to really create into something new if we
Right.
don't feel like we really need to, and because it's so demotivating that we need to make it into a game or whatever. Like find things that is easy for you to start.
I think that that's incredible. Hacking my destiny. And I feel like you definitely hacked your destiny with all of your accomplishments, everything that you have done. And I think what I love most about this is like you're still not done. Everybody like recognizes they're like, I've done all this. And it's like, no, I can still do more. I can
Yeah.
still meet amazing people. I can still figure out ways to get 1% better. And I think that that is so crucial because a lot of people stop. They get in that comfort zone. I got
Yep.
a house. I got a wife. I got the husband. I got the career. I got a good business. So now I just
Yep.
stop. Like I've done it. One thing that I like love about you, just even like your bio and stuff, it's like, okay, most people are like, oh, I get the TEDx once. And you're like, nope, I'm going to go again. And then guess what? I'm like lining up for my third one. It's just the continued opportunity to get better and strive for more and what you can be able to learn. Okay, these first two, I did it here and this was the setup. Now, how can I do this better? I am so grateful for this amazing conversation. And even I learned about your book just by Googling you to make sure that, like, hey, is this a good fit? What is that? But then, like, hearing it again, I'm like, okay, you know what? Actually, I need to order that. Like, put that team, like, that's a part of our books that empower us that we need to read because that is so true. It's those small steps to hack our destiny. And at
Yeah.
Facebook, we do all these hackathons all the time. So I love that.
Yeah. And why are we not breaking that out of the corporate structure and the achievements of startups trying to create new things with just bright minds and creative energy? Like, why are we not doing that to our own lives? Like, everything in life can be questioned. Everything can be done
Everything. Yeah.
in multiple different ways. You can achieve things that you can't really imagine in the beginning that you can achieve. So get out there and don't look at the goal as the goal, but see the journey and all the hoops and loops as goals in itself. And then if you reach to your goal, the dream or the vision, that's amazing. But it's not about that. It's about that journey that takes you forward. Because in many situations, when you have something that feels extremely difficult to achieve, and it's probably a ton of hoops and loops that you need to go through, and you need to work really, really hard. In the end, it's quite possible that your vision have changed. So don't go with a waterfall model and think that you need to define all the steps before you get started. It doesn't work like that. Life is not a waterfall model. Life is
No, it's not.
not even an agile model, because as we talked about, we get tricked into corners where we stand in that corner and just look into the corner. But we need to turn around and look out of the corner, and that's difficult. And
Yeah.
energy pulls us in different directions. And
Yes,
then
it
we
does.
also want to be accepted by other people. And to be accepted, we need to be in their
accepted,
comfort
yes.
zone. And that's not good.
No. Like, I was talking to someone and we talked about the fact of like that you're in this social media area, that you're liked, but you're lonely. So you are liked by a lot of things. Oh, people like my post. I got new followers. But like, it's that lonely thing because again, we're looking at it one way, but making those pivots, being disruptive, like everything that has happened is a disruption, from our phones to you having the headphones. It's a disruption. Like someone was like, I don't like this. I'm going to change it and I'm going to make it better for other people, those ripple effects. So I believe that as we talk about, everyone is like, okay, here's the 90% of people and the 10% of us. Like, how can we be able to be different? And it's simply the wanting to be different. Hey, other people did it this way. That doesn't mean I have to do it this way. There's thousands of ways that I can do it. Maybe everybody creates their podcast this way. We can create ours, and it's an incredible experience. And we don't have to have these guests. It can be this way. And I think it's the boldness, though, to be different.
Yeah.
And that's what lets you have those destiny hacks and all of those amazing opportunities.
Yeah. But I do think that there is something we need to talk a little bit about before we finish this episode today. Because I believe that there are tons of listeners or viewers that are interested in more of your journey, especially your high value achievements from a social success point of view, like the work you do with Forbes and so on. Like, how did that happen? Because you started off saying like, I failed. And then we talked a little bit about that. There is no failures, and there are no impossibilities as well. But that's a totally different episode. Your achievements, because you have achieved, and you have achieved. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So again, it was like what I did with you. LinkedIn is a powerful platform. I know that you have like a great following, but LinkedIn gives you access to everybody, from the president of Microsoft all the way down to admissions for colleges, football coaches. It doesn't matter. Whatever your goal in life is, they're probably on LinkedIn. And what's different about LinkedIn versus Facebook, Instagram, TikTok is you can search for those people and then they have the filter to know who it is. And my goal, because I saw Warren Buffett and Jay-Z on Forbes like a few years ago. I think this was like 8 years ago. And they did like this big interview and it was like the world's richest people and this is what they're doing. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be on Forbes. Like I put that like as a part of my vision board. And someone wrote about LinkedIn's impact. And I was like, no, like LinkedIn, that's me. Like LinkedIn has helped me get a job and now I'm building a career. And I'm like, reach out to this Forbes person because I want people to know like how they should block their boss. And she was like, that's so controversial. Like, I would love to have you like feature you. And I went, are you serious? So it literally was like what I did with you. It was a simple outreach of saying, this is my story. Would you be interested? Like, I would love to talk to more people about it. And then it like turned into a yes. And I think that's what has happened for like a lot of my achievements today. I read this book. It's called The Winner Effect. And it's like once you get a yes, then that boosts your momentum to like go after like more yes and get more things. So because I've got a lot of yes and I got a ton of no's. Like everybody's like, oh, you got to Facebook. Yeah, I didn't apply to Facebook, but I got to 75 no's. Like I got 75 email rejections and then Facebook appeared where I got recruited by Facebook and Google and LinkedIn. There were 75 jobs that I still have that told me, no, we don't want you. And they didn't even interview me. It was just like, no, like I applied. They said no, but it was, those yeses. And I hold on to a yes. Like somebody tell me a yes, I will celebrate my yes for a long time. And people are like, you shouldn't do that. Like that's false hope. But no, like if I get to this mountaintop, like winning the Super Bowl or the World Cup, and I might never get to that again. So hold on to that. Like I won the World Cup. I won the World Cup and I could be able to do this. You have to hold on to your yeses because for too long, people will hold on to their no's. Oh, well, that means I'm not good enough. So when I get a yes, I will brag about it for like forever. I'm going to tell like so many people, yeah, I was on Karl's show, right? So yeah, like I'm a big deal. You got to like now partner with me. Like those, yes, really do. They serve as your win and they serve as like you to get other achievements and things. Being unafraid of the no. And if that person, to be honest with you, if that person would have told me no for Forbes, I'm just going to reach out to Time. I'm going to reach out to Entrepreneur. Like somebody needs to hear this story because too many people are asking me like, how did you go from failure to Facebook? Like, how'd you get to that? So I need to tell somebody this story and everybody needs to block their boss so that way they can move forward. And I think it's just having the courage, again, being different
Yeah,
to say, if they say no, this doesn't mean that it's my no. It's just them. They just didn't think maybe it was a good fit. Maybe she was having a bad day. I'll reach out to somebody else. Like there's over 30,000 people who like work for various media companies. One, you can get one yes. Like somebody's going to give you a yes. So I think that has helped me to get the achievements.
yeah, for sure. And I think that is an amazing ending point as well. Dare to ask those uncomfortable questions. Put yourself out there to create your own future. Don't rely on that everybody else are going to create your future because it's not going to be your future. It's going to be their future that you're just tagging along on. Like you want to not end your life in a way where you have just been following other people, but instead you want to own that journey. And that doesn't mean that you need to know where you're going, but you need to be going somewhere.
Yes. And to your point, it starts with that goals. And people say goals, daily habits, whatever. It's still something of like, I'm here and I want to go there. That's at the end. Like you said,
Yep.
it's a part of that journey. So much is going to happen, but wherever you are here today, where you want to go there, it starts with you putting yourself out there, reaching out to Karl, reaching out to the TEDx people. Like, you don't become a 2-time TEDx person. Cause listen, I'm going through the process. See, you have to reach out to the people and interview and do it. Like, it's a journey. Like,
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
the end result is amazing, but for you, I'm certain it's a journey. For you to be on there twice, like, man, kudos to you. Like, I don't think people recognize the journey part. Your TED Talks were amazing, but the journey, y'all,
Yeah.
it's not all peaches and roses. You got to reach out to the people and make sure it's the right like thing that fits into it. It's a definitely, that's a whole nother talk that
Yeah.
we should talk about, like how your road to TEDx, your road to TED Talk.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's probably something that could be quite interesting for many people as well, that want to put themselves out there, that have something that they believe can inspire, motivate, and encourage other people. So let's see how we can get back to that. And let's hear from the listeners. Like, is that something that you guys want us to address? Then tell us so in the comments.
Yeah, I would love that. Please, his road to TED, everyone's road to TED. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like, to even think of that, like 15 years ago, who care about like TED Talks? And now there's Tech Talks and all of this. Like, again, people desire to be different. So, yeah,
Yep.
please let us know. Like, what are your thoughts about it? I really believe that this is going to be a great topic that a lot of people have interest in.
Yeah. It's been amazing to have you and to have this conversation and to keep it close at heart, to not always talk about these amazing achievements, but more about how to break out of the mold and do things that makes a difference for you.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you so much, Karl, for saying yes. Thank you to your team. I'm just a little girl from Kansas, and we cross time zones, continents, everything to
Yeah.
connect. And this was truly a great way to not wake up early, but to go in a different time zone.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing. Thank you. And let's stay in touch.
Yes, absolutely. Have a great day.
Amazing.
Thanks for joining us for today's episode of The Authority Show. Don't let the inspiration and ideas stop here, but join our community and continue the conversation. Learn more at karlillrud.com. That's KarLillrud.com. Be sure to subscribe to catch our next episodes. Until next time, stay curious.